What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fitness Realty channel. My name is TJ McLelland and I'm the broker. I'm super excited to share all the things we have planned with you. So sit back, strap in, and let's have some fun. What's up, everybody? We are back for another sweet episode. This is episode 57, which I just can't believe that that's even a number that we've gotten to. I have Tennison The Tank Hunter next to me, and this is going to be so exciting. Tennison, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, TJ?
I'm doing magical. I'm just excited to be here. I know that you bring so much education and knowledge to this table. And I just want you to kind of give us a little background about you and what you are and everything that's all about you.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I appreciate having me on. A little background on me is, I got 4 kids. I was born in Idaho, Boise, Idaho.
Nice.
But I mean, we moved here when I was like 1 year old. So
Nice.
I've been in Utah my whole life. So obviously the tank, that the nickname comes from, I got really big into. Well, really, my wife told me I had to stop playing soccer. I played soccer. Soccer was like my passion, my hobby. I kept getting injured, and she's like, no more of that, right? So I was like, oh, what next? Weightlifting. Here we go.
Nice. The women in our lives, they always keep us a little safer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I've got a lot less injuries, and I've been doing that. Picked up running recently, which is another funny story. I'm a little bigger, right? But everyone was like telling me, hey, you're going to blow your knees out. Or So I'm actually running a half marathon here in less than a month. So
whoa, cool. Dude,
so
sweet goal to have, man.
Yeah. Right now it's just to check it off the list. I've got other friends that are like, hey, you should come do the St. George Marathon with us. And I was like, wait.
You're like one step at a time.
You got time?
Yeah, one step at a time. Well, tell us about the gym a little bit. I know, so you do promote for, what company is it? Remind me what company? For
Bucked
supplements.
Up. Yeah,
Bucked Up.
Yeah.
So I know that you have this awesome code that can get you some discounts and stuff. I know some of our listeners, they'll be fitness junkies just like the rest of us, but it's pretty cool that you have that.
Yeah. I just, it's a product I've been using for years. And so I just reached out to them and said, hey, I already use it. I already send people your way anyways. They're like, oh, yeah, here's a code. You can get them 20% off if they order from us.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you follow me on Instagram, it's just t.the.tank on Instagram. Right. You go to my bio, you'll see the link there. You can use it, get 20% off. Again, it's been a hobby, passion, however you want to call it, of mine for the last 10 years at this point. So,
right. Which is so cool. Dude, for everybody that's listening, and some of them that are watching, go to Instagram if you need motivation so that you can follow Tennison right now. So whenever I'm like, I don't want to hit the gym, I just like go to Instagram. I'm like, dang it, Tennison already went. I got to go.
That's the reason I started out posting. It was more of kind of like a personal journey just for me. Then I try and include some like motivational things like, hey, this is how I was feeling this morning, but I still went and did it, right?
Yep. Oh.
That's what I did. I get up first thing in the morning. It's so hard to start my day without being active.
Yeah. Oh, for real. And that's such a motivator for all of us here. I mean, we prompt that and promote that with Fitness Realty, of course, but it's fun to see other people outside of our network just kind of like living their dreams and doing that and staying like truly faithful to something like that, because a lot of people can do it after the new year, but then it falls off. But to see like a 10-year, you're right, a 10-year commitment, that's huge. Yeah. So I love that, dude.
Well, that's what it's all about. I mean, if you can stay healthy, especially, like I got 4 kids, so it's
right.
They're running around every which way, and there's no way I'd be able to keep up if I didn't. I mean? So,
true.
So.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
all right, well, let's kind of shift into the business side. So kind of give us a synopsis of how you got started in lending, and then a little bit of background about Supreme, and let's kind of start there.
Yeah, for sure. So another funny story, however you want to say. So my brother got into real estate, and I didn't want to like directly compete with him or work under him or anything. And so I was like, oh, I'll become a mortgage lender. He's got his own kind of team and stuff. And the funny thing is, so I get into lending thinking, oh, we're going to work together. Well, he's like, no, you're a newbie. I'm experienced.
Oh no!
So that didn't work. He's like, I'd hope, but
oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I did not know that.
It's been fun, I absolutely love. I've gotten a lot more, I guess, financial savvy, if you will, just from being in this industry. And I've always, I'm a college dropout. I was studying math, so I love numbers, and so it just made sense. You know what I mean? It was like, this is a profession I can do. I can actually help people and get into something that's going to change people's lives.
Right.
Help them build some equity in their home, that type of thing. So yeah, it's been really exciting. So yeah, funny how that kind of started out. Didn't go as planned. I mean, does it ever really go as planned? But...
I was gonna say no. Nobody ever's like, this is gonna go perfectly. No, yeah, that's not how it works.
We hope it does, but
right. Yes. Well, then, how did you get into Supreme, or was that the first company that you actually started out with?
No, so I've been with a couple companies. The biggest thing that's attracted me to Supreme is, just our process, our system of the process, right? Whereas like with other places I've been at, I get stressed of like, hey, is the appraisal going to get ordered on time? Is it going to be back on time, right? Are we going to be able to close on time? Because I mean, it was huge for the last 2 years. Now, things are shifting a little bit.
Yes, they are.
I mean, still, it's better to know a week before you're closing that everything's good than to get the closing date, be like, oh, we're still waiting for the underwriter to approve this.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I'm sure you've experienced it plenty of times.
I hate that feeling. Where we're like, all right, everybody cross your fingers and toes because this is going to be one wild ride.
Right. And then you're hitting up the lender like, hey, what's going on? Or the loan officer like, hey, is it back? What? And they're like, well, I haven't heard anything. We're still waiting. Like,
yep. I had one time. They were like, I'm in Mexico. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're not closing today. Yeah, needless to say, that lender doesn't work for us anymore.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yep. I was like, ooh, that's crazy. So that's cool about Supreme, though. Nice, good processes, good backbone. Because we've had several lenders on here on our podcast before. And sometimes when we talk about lending, it's this gray area, right? The consumer just doesn't know what that means, right? They're like, oh, maybe I want to buy a house. I'm supposed to get a mortgage, but how do I do that? Nobody really knows, right? And you can read about it online, but and you can go to like Rocket Mortgage and try to get something and just get boned. But what I like is that you bring the education side to the table, and then your company has the processes to finish the job and get it done in quality. And I always find like when we start to talk about quality, there's such a wide bar, right, or a wide range from lending institutions where quality means something different to every lender out there, right? And so I want to just kind of point out for all of our listeners that your guys' quality based on your processes is so tight, right? And get the job done at the end of the day and close on time. That's what our borrowers want, and that's what they get with you. So I just wanted to make a quick plug there. So I just want to say thanks for all the sweet processes that you guys do have, because it makes our job as realtors so much easier. And then the rest of us, we get to look awesome, like when we all get to work together and we're working hand in hand and kind of step in step, man, everybody just works together so much better when it's that way. So yeah, that's awesome.
It's so much better that way. But ultimately, like, my goal is to make you look like the rock star, right? Because it's like you send me a deal, the last thing you want is it blowing up in your face, and they're like, "What'd you do, TJ? Like, come on."
Right. Yep. Oh, exactly. And hands down, most of the time, it always circles around what the realtor looks like, and then it's all these outside vendors that everybody has a handle in it, but it's always coming down to, well, this realtor screwed that up, Yeah. Oh, I totally get it. Okay. Well, let's kind of shift to what are some of the things that you can offer to the people that are listening on our podcast? Like I said, we've had several lenders out there, But what are some of the specific programs that Supreme has that you have access to that can kind of help us out without like diving into rates or any rates or any like credit scores or anything?
Yeah, yeah. So obviously that's a whole. I mean, that varies from program to like you said, credit score to So rates are always hard to. Everyone's like, "What's your rates?" Like, well, what's your situation, right?
Right.
But when it comes down, I mean, obviously, the typical FHA, VA, conventional, we can do those. What I've done a lot of as of recently, anyways, with kind of things changing a little bit, is so a lot of zero down. First time home buyers that don't have money to put down, but they make a good amount of money. Let's get you into a home. We can still do that. 2 years ago, a year ago, we couldn't do that, right? You had to put $50,000 to $100,000 down over asking price or whatever. So doing a lot of those, and then another one is self-employed borrowers, right? So I just closed a deal, was it last week, and she'd been denied 3 or 4 times. And she's like, "Hey, I hear you're really good at these." And I said, "No, I'm the best." Like,
nice.
And I don't mean that like, not trying to be cocky, but it's like I've done so many of them now. I know how to do it. And I just another buddy of mine just reached out for the same thing, self-employed. He's like, I don't know how. He's like, I'm under contract for this new build. Well, how do I do this? Right. And because I've done so many, it's like, hey, we can make this happen. So, if you are self-employed, granted, it's got to be 2 years. Everyone wants to see 2 years. Sometimes there's some exceptions. So yes, they'll reach out. Let's see what we can do. If not, let's make a plan and see what that looks like. Right. But I do a ton of those to help people get into homes as well. So, I would say that's kind of been my niche as of recently is helping those people, and I absolutely love it. I kind of got thrown into it actually is nice. learn the hard. Well, I don't know if it was the hard way, because for me it was easy. I'd already done all the back research. But so one of my good friends, right? He was I can't remember the exact story, but he was with another lender, and they said they could do it because he was self-employed, whatever. They come down to closing day, and they're like, "Hey, we can't do this." He's like, he just built this, like, I think it was an $800,000 home, right? And he's like, and he had like 30,000 down in earnest money. He's like, he's going to lose everything.
Right.
And luckily the builder was lenient with him. I said, "Hey, send me over all your stuff. Like, I think there's a way we can make this work." And ultimately we did, right? We actually closed it in 2 weeks from they denied him to us getting all of his information closed as a self, you know what I mean? Like, self-employed borrowers it's a different situation.
Right. It's dicey for sure.
Yeah. And so we got it done quick, and he got his home, and now he's happy as ever. So.
Oh man, that's so cool. Yeah. So something that I want to kind of point out there is that you have access to all the programs that are the normal programs. But the two things that really stood out to me, one, most of my friends are all self-employed, right? Like we're all out there trying to do our thing with business and whatever. So that's huge for us, right, in our sphere. But the second one is, for everybody that's listening, a 0% down first-time homebuyer arena, that has not been possible the last 3 years. And exactly what Tennison is talking about is that the competition was so high from so much cash and Californians and just a high amount of cash being brought to Utah. You weren't competitive if you were in that arena, but now maybe your job's gone up, your pay has gone up, but you still don't have the down payment that you're looking for to get into a property. Well, now Tennison has a pathway for you to get your house, right? So I love that, right? That is a dream for first-time home buyers. And honestly, in this state, we have a lot of them, right? All these kids, they graduate, they start like getting married or whatever, having kids, and it's like, well, let's get you into a house where you can have some equity building, like what you said in the first place about helping people building equity, so that they can have their American dream, which is top shelf, man. So I really value that. And I really value that you can do that for first-time homebuyers, because there's some lenders that they don't do that, right? They don't touch first-time homebuyers. They won't go down that road. the price point is usually a lot lower than the 900 grand or,
right.
the like sweet deals that people always, dream of. But at the end of the day, our jobs are to help people. And so I really love that. I'm passionate about helping people as well. And I see that from you. So for everybody listening, if you're a first time home buyer or you don't own a house yet, give Tennison a call to talk about what that pathway looks like, because sometimes there will be a big fear barrier, and just talking to somebody about it can really break that down.
Yeah. It opens up that window, right? Because it might be cheaper than you expected,
Right.
And you might qualify for more than you think. A lot of times that's the case. Sometimes, you get those people that think they qualify for,
right,
a little bit more. It's like, hey, it's,
let's
still,
rein it back.
We still get something,
Right. Yeah,
which is
for
cool.
sure.
I did want to piggyback on that though, because you in Utah specifically, right? We're lucky enough that the state offers some grants specifically for VA. So if you've been in the military, there's some grants out there for you, and then as well as what's law enforcement.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's some great grants there that'll help cover some of those closing costs and stuff on top of, so you're not having to try and finance as much or whatever. Yeah. They've got some really cool grants for those type of people. So.
Oh, that's so cool. And I think the real big key piece here is that you have all these access to programs. It just takes somebody to say, all right, I'm going to make a phone call today or a text and say, what does this look like for me? Because when we have that just gray area, like I said before, that's the impossible zone. Nobody even knows what's happening. And if you can get to them and build a plan and show them what it looks like, that's just the nugget right there, is that education brings the fear barrier down. It helps people be confident. And then a lot of times I feel like people will reach out to a lender or try to get that going when they get an $800 increase from their landlord. And I'm like, why don't you just do this sooner? Just
exactly.
Just text me sooner, So people that are listening, do it sooner than later.
That's exactly right. I've been seeing a lot more of that, right? Rents are starting to go up.
Rents are
now
going
everyone's
up.
like, how do I get into a home? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
So
cool. All right, let's shift to kind of talking about your team and your staff. So kind of talk about how big is your team and what areas can you help service and get people into a home?
Yeah. So right now I've got one loan officer. He does really good. His background's actually in VA loans, and so any VA deals, he's the expert. I've done a handful. I'm pretty good at it. I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But he's done so many that like he'll bring up ideas to me. I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So he's definitely the expert when it comes to that. And then I've got an assistant, right? She's been an underwriter for years. And so what we do is, because of that experience, we utilize that to literally pre-underwrite every file that we do.
Oh, nice.
So if we're sending out a pre-approval, you get us the documents beforehand that we need. Uh-huh. We'll have a full pre-underwritten file for you before you go put an offer on a house, right?
Oh, sweet.
I like to explain it as like, hey, you're walking in with a golden ticket. You can afford this.
Right.
There's no like, hey, let's go under contract and then let's see.
Right. Let's roll the dice.
Yeah, exactly. So,
let me push pause really quick, because this is not push pause, but let me stop and just piggyback on this really fast, because this story, it just kills me. And I kind of want to throw this out there. So my boy is 15, just driving with his permit. And I feel like first-time home buyers and people that roll the dice all the time on their eligibility, they say this to me quite frequently. So, but my boy, he was about to pull out, make a left-hand turn. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Dad, I just can't see kind of past that diesel truck over there. And I was like, well, just wait for it, like maybe pull out a little bit more and look. And he's like, dude, Dad, should I just risk it? And I'm like, no, no, hey, stop. Don't risk it,
Right.
So I feel like when realtors take out borrowers or buyers and they haven't done their due diligence yet on that, they're just risking it for the biscuit, you know. So anyway, I'm
that's
sorry
so
to like
true.
derail
Well,
and go off tangent, but that I thought it was just funny.
well, just to piggyback off that tangent, so I actually did own a driving school, so we did teach drivers that.
Oh my
This is like,
gosh.
heck yeah, what's it been, 6-7 years now? We
Oh
did
my
that.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah, trust me, there's a lot of people that want to just risk it, and we had to teach them like, hey,
Right.
like,
Like calm
yeah,
down.
it's the exact same thing with home buying. Like,
Yep.
yeah, get fully pre-approved,
Yes.
and then you're golden. Then you know exactly what you can get. So
Right. Well,
yeah,
and sometimes that pre-underwriting process, I mean, that makes the back end so much more,
oh yeah,
so much faster, right? So you guys
yep,
can close sooner. Everybody can get moving sooner. Buyers can get their keys, right? And that at the end of the
yep,
day, that's all they care about. Like, let's close, get it done, get the keys because they want to move on with their lives, you know. And so
exactly.
pre-underwriting, that sounds awesome, just to get it pushed through pretty quick.
And
All right.
that's exactly why that helps us get deals closed so quick. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So
All right. Very last thing. Leave us
yeah.
with a crazy story. I mean, we've already had some crazy stories. So leave us maybe with a crazy story where things were looking horrible and you were able to put it all back together and get somebody to the victory line.
Yeah, I guess we kind of touched on two of them that I just recently did.
Mm-hmm.
But let me see. I'm trying to think of, well, tell you what we're doing right now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, this was funny. So so I've got one guy. He found this home that he really loves. It's a 0 down. The place, I wouldn't say it's falling apart, but it needs a lot of work.
Gotcha.
Right. And at first we're like, we weren't sure if we were going to, especially for what they offered.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, so we just got the appraisal back. The appraisal, we were kind of hoping it would come in low, so we had some negotiating room, but it actually came in higher than any of us expected. Yeah.
Jeez. That rarely happens.
So that was like, well, that didn't play to our favor.
Right.
But then, then title sends us, hey, this is what the actual taxes are. They were a lot lower than we expected. So we're still going to be able to put this all together for him.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to get the home. Obviously, there's going to have to be some repairs done before he can get it with these 0 downs.
Yeah.
But, the seller knew that going in. We'd let him know, hey, this is what you're going to have to do to make this work if you really want to get rid of it.
Right.
And he was totally cool with it. And so now they're doing those repairs right now, and we're going to be able to close this for him in 2 weeks. So
whoa.
It's one of those that was like, it was a little bit of a Hail Mary, but
nice.
Everyone was on board, and we got all the pieces put together before any of it. And so everything's just working out. So it's gonna be really cool. We're really excited for him because he's lived in a trailer his whole life and never had a house. And,
oh wow!
He's just super excited to like, hey, I'm gonna have my own place. He's got a little dog. The place is fenced in, so now he's gonna have this like big yard for his dog and everything.
Right.
So,
that's so cool. I love it when there's stories about getting people to their dream, right? And I mean, that's not going to be his forever house, right? Like, and we always hear forever houses anyways, and that rarely pans out. But I always love to hear when people are actually moving forward with their lives, especially like after COVID and everything changed and the world changed, right? And now having people like you help other people to achieve their dreams, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So and doing these are the deals that I love every deal, right? But like this type of thing where it's like, hey, like, they're so excited and we're able to make it work. And it just, you go to bed at night and you're just like, wow, like I really love what I do. You know?
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah.
Oh,
man, this has been so much fun with you. I really appreciate you. I love having you on our show. I love working with you, and you're just a great guy to be around. And every time that we're just chit-chatting, I always just have a good time. So I always want to just say thank you. I'm grateful for all your time and your effort and your support to our company. So I wanted to say thanks.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate it, and likewise. You guys have been great with us. So always taking care of the clients, which is...
Thank you.
It's what we love, especially coming from the realtor side,
Right? No, totally agree.
So, yeah. So
okay, everybody, that was episode 57. Tennison the Tank Hunter. What up? Oh, I love it. All right, man. We'll see you guys all later, and we love you. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for supporting us. We'll see you next time, and we love you. Later.